announce our podcast here Wednesday, May 30th. Our special guest in the studio. We're also on Facebook Live right over there. Jordan King in studio. Detroit Grand Prix. Hi, Jordan. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming in. Erin was out there racing last night with you at Cart to Cart. She was the one in the dress.
I did have on a dress, yes.
I think that's badass. Pardon me. I mean, I think that's really cool. We were discussing on the air, Jordan.
Someone had to.
Well, I know Fuzzy's a they're a wonderful sponsor and they've really done a lot for you guys. However, if Dress Barn got involved, could you maybe wear like a skirt or something just for one race?
Well, my mum was born in Scotland, so I have some Scottish heritage, I suppose you could claim it.
So a kilt is not out of the question.
So a kilt's probably not out of the question, and I like to say I'm British, not English. So yeah, I suppose a form of a kilt might go.
See, Aaron, we're on to something.
Not sure, but yeah, maybe.
That could be your thing. You know, Elio climbs the fence. You're the guy who comes out wearing a kilt.
It would be the first time, but
right.
yeah.
Right. Nobody.
Well, I will say it was a little breezy.
What's a little breezy? How do you with the fire suit? Yeah, you got to do that one.
Yeah. Well, we didn't have fire suits on yesterday, but I will say it was a little awkward getting in and out of the go-kart with my outfit.
We're going to get our producer, we're going to get Ryan to wear a dress next time we got to Cart, but she came in Sabbath, she had fun out there.
I did good, except Ari Leindyke Jr.
She got dumped by Ari.
Disaster.
Not the first woman to get dumped by Ari, apparently. So.
No, he gave me a good bump.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, fine.
He gave me a couple as well, but I just brake checked him and it was alright.
Well, that's what I ended up doing to his fiance.
You can't turn it off, though. When you get behind the wheel of a car on a track, I'm not talking like freeway driving, Jordan, but when you get on a track, those competitive juices go. Don't they? I mean, on some level, they have to.
I had to win last night. I can't.
You had the top time, didn't you?
Yeah, I couldn't have gone to an event and not won it, so yeah.
Bravo.
Were you always that way?
Yeah, I think I've always been very competitive. I've had quite a few people come and say to me that I'm the most competitive person they've come across. Everything I do, I just like to do it to the best of my ability. I think that's my dad's fault. He's very competitive, and from a very young age, he never let me win anything. He used to make me cry a lot because he would always beat me. And then I got old enough to start beating him, and then I made him cry.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, I don't think he cried, but yeah.
It is tough the first time your kid beats you at a sport, no matter what it is. Even if you're playing horse outside shooting basketball.
Yeah, it was one of those
sucks.
that he was happy to compete with me at anything. And then when I got I suppose, about 10, 11, 12, I started getting better and closer to an adult's ability. And and then when there was a crossover point, he then selected the sports he would play with me.
I was thinking about since you mentioned the father figure, to me, with Ed Carpenter, I can't think of another racing team that has an owner like Ed who's still in the prime of his racing career. Do you know what I mean? Like Andretti and stuff, I mean, that was towards later on when Michael kind of, weaned himself off with kart racing and Paul Tracy and those guys, they started doing that. But you watch Ed, runner-up at Indy, and how he's going and what you guys are building there. Is he kind of like a father figure or more like a big brother who just happens to be your boss?
I think there's a bit of both. He does refer to Spencer and I as his kids at the racetrack, even though his genuine kids come to the racetrack. But no, he's really not actually that much older than us. He's still racing very competitively and obviously doing a really good job last weekend. He's been a really good help with me, coming over here, getting set up, kind of getting involved in the team, really have accepted me, opened their arms up, and warm welcome into the team. So from my side of view, it's been really good.
It's interesting, the other thing with these teams and what you've been doing road course racing this year, and as you're watching Indy, do you maybe like talk to Ed? You go, Ed, it's a lot of fun, but maybe you should just take a break and focus on running the team full time. Give me your car.
I did want to be out there over the weekend. I can't deny that. And after qualifying, when all three cars were in the top 9, it was only Ed Carpenter Racing and Penske that had all cars into the Fast 9. So I did say to him, I said, Ed, if you had a fourth car, you might have had 4 in there.
Just saying.
Yeah, and it put a smile on his face. But no, the team have done a great job, and of course, I'd like to be racing there, but I wasn't too disappointed, as I didn't come over here under any illusion I was going to be racing there. So no one took my toy away from me because I never had it.
Okay.
In that sense.
Let's talk a little bit about road courses, because we're seeing incredible speeds on just the oval tracks. Are the road courses, like when you come to Detroit or Long Beach, are they kind of like a break from the really, really extreme speeds that you see, say, at like Auto Club Speedway or...
No, yes, it's not got the headline fast number. You know, what's the top speed at IMS was 235, I think, give or take. You know, that's quick. That's getting a move on. But you know, we're still going 180 miles an hour, and you know, in Detroit, I don't know if your listeners would have even walked around the circuit and see how tight it is. You know, when our average speed is 120, 130 miles an hour, and you see how tight and twisty it is, it's just as impressive. I think it's almost more impressive with how fast they are, considering how tight and twisty, the margin for error, and everything. So, yeah, in my eyes, it's kind of a bit more impressive seeing how quickly you can go through tight corners rather than just top speed in a straight line. No, and when friends go, "Oh, well, how fast can the car go?" and it's like, we don't really look at top speed. You actually look at how quickly you can go through the corners and how quickly the car can stop. You know, that's what's more impressive about these things.
Do you consider yourself more of a road course specialist
Than
other drivers?
At the moment, yes, because that's what I've done my whole career. Racing back in Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3. It's all road and street courses, so we don't call them road and street courses back there. But yeah, so that's what I've done. I've been very successful. So coming over to America, there was a great opportunity with Ed to take it up. And it kind of makes sense. It's given me an opportunity to learn. You know, standing on the pit wall at the 500 was great, actually. I picked up on everything I needed to without having to deal with the stress of driving. So hopefully that stands me in good stead going forward. We'll see what the future holds, but yeah.
DetroitGP.com is the website. Obviously, the Detroit Grand Prix in town for this weekend. The other thing too, talking about road courses, and Aaron was bringing this up about the speeds and stuff. With the new Aero Package A, and with B, the limited amount of practice time, where you guys are going to be out there on Friday. This really, I've always wondered. I ask drivers this all the time, Jordan. That do you want to tip your hand in practice about how deep you're willing to drive a car in?
Yeah, it's a juggling act. Obviously, you need to be pushing as hard as possible to test the limit, to work out what you need from the car, where the circuit's going with, you know, the grip coming in, with the weather. So, yeah, you're really trying to build up a big picture. And if you underdrive, you don't build up the full picture. So when you get to qualifying and you need to find that last performance, you don't know where it is. So, yeah, on one hand, you need that aspect to push, to make mistakes, but then you don't want to be putting it in the wall. Yes, if people follow in Formula 1, you see with Max Verstappen, he put it in the wall in Monaco, didn't get out for qualifying, ruined his whole weekend. So, you know, there's both aspects.
Yeah, but he does that every other race, basically. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, just, you know, alternates.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's both aspects. There's being quick, but then also being quick at the right times and consistent. And
well, you got to figure, too, Will Power's going to be so tired by the end of the week, you can just bump him out of the way. He'll be half awake.
Yeah, so that's what 23 cars we now have.
Right,
So,
you just bump him out of the way and do that one. I do remember he talked about how, and you've seen quicker speeds this year on the road courses with the new package. 1 and 2 at Belle Isle when they go through there. I remember this. I think I told this to Aaron a couple of years ago. Will said during one of the practices, his harness broke. There's so many lateral G's going through there that you come out of 1 and it's this at the start finish line. And then you're flat into it, rolling into 2 like that. I don't think people realize how hard you guys push those cars just to get to those turns. We always think you brake like a normal driver. We brake and, you know, you roll through the apex of a turn and then you accelerate.
Yeah.
You guys really are pushing the boundaries further and further on these turns with this platform.
Yeah, back to my previous point, that's what I find probably more impressive. Is the best fact I like to reel off to people is say if you're in your road car and you brake as hard as you can, you jump on the brake as hard as you can. So the ABS, your anti-lock system is working hard. You come to a stop. That's about 1 G of brake force. You know, and you throw yourself forward in the car. we're pulling laterally, we're pulling 3, 4, 5G sometimes. So we're pulling quadruple what you can maximally pull in a road car laterally. So there's some serious G-forces going through the car, and even with the drag in the car. So when they've got that much downforce, if you just lift off the throttle, you've got the same deceleration as you do in a road car when you brake as hard as you can.
I just remember riding in the two-seater out at Auto Club Speedway, and I felt like when a dog sticks its head out of the window and its cheeks go back, that's exactly what it felt like to me because of what you talked about, the G's. It's intense. It's an intense... Like, I don't know how you guys do it without puking, in all honesty. Like, I would have vomited all over the car, and that would have been the end of the race for me.
I don't know if anyone has, but I'm sure there's somewhere. I mean, if you look on YouTube, you just type in two-seater rides and stuff. There's a couple of great videos of just normal road-going drivers getting in a car and their heads flying from side to side. It's quite funny actually. So if you've got 5 minutes, just have a bit of a YouTube Google.
I'll go down that rabbit hole in a minute. Jordan King, our guest here, of course, DetroitGrandPrix.com, 42 Jordan King on Twitter, EdCarpenterRacing.com, the number 20 Fuzzies, right, under Ultimate Premium Vodka. I tried to get in your guys' chalet at Indy, and I couldn't get into that whole grandstand area. That's awesome. I've never seen a sponsor that has their own grandstand area.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
It's quite impressive. And it's close to the circuit, isn't it? Overlooking, so you get a bird's eye view. It's a good place.
Well, hometown race here. So if you win on Saturday and Sunday, or if you take both, I would assume Jim Campbell's going to give you a Corvette, right? Is that what you want? A Corvette, Camaro? What would you take from him?
I'll take what they're offering.
But if you had to go with the Detroit muscle car,
see, a while ago it was definitely a Corvette, but I don't know, maybe a Camaro. Depends what mood I'm in. Maybe I'll ask for both, and then I can decide.
The LT1 kind of let bring them both out.
Well, yeah, if I've got both in the garage, I can then decide depending on my mood on the day.
That's why he's a race car, a smart guy. As for the mid engine Corvette, Mark Royce will just shut up completely. He won't say a word to you. Nobody talks about it. We have it driving around here, and people go, "I have no idea what you're talking about. It doesn't exist." It does exist.
it's like a UFO.
It is. It's Detroit's UFO is the mid engine Corvette. I'm serious, Jordan. It's what we're all obsessed with.
There's 0.5 of them out there, but there's a few around.
The mid engine Corvette is out there somewhere. It's like X-Files. Looking forward to this too. One thing I was going to ask you about. I remember and I was looking this up, and our producer Ryan looked it up as well. You had in St. Petersburg, you qualified 4th.
Yeah.
You get out there and Long Beach 12th. The Grand Prix 5th, the Indy Grand Prix.
Yeah.
What is it to tie it all together? What is it? Is it? And I know sometimes they talk about how luck is where preparation and opportunity meet.
Yeah.
For you as a driver, I mean, you have the speed. It's not like you're some backmarker in F1 or something. You guys have the speed, and you've shown it. But what does it take to tie it all together? As a layman, just watching the race, what do I need to look for?
Well, there's a lot of variables in motorsport, and especially with the way the races are, you've got different tyre compounds from Firestone that you can choose from. You've got fuel strategies, you've got pit stop strategy. Obviously, the weather changes during 2.5 hours. Even just a couple of degrees difference in air temperature can make all the difference. The car setup. So the thing to actually watch is if you can get the IndyCar app and go through and look at lap times, you can get a good understanding of who's quick and who's slow during the race and as it evolves. For me, my first race in St. Pete was going really well. We led a couple of laps, and we were right in the mix for the top 5, but picked up a puncture. So there's always a couple of things that might come in the way and kind of ruin your day in that sense. But then in the other instance, what you're looking to achieve is just the perfect race where nothing happens. All the variables have gone out the window, and ideally when that happens, it's just such a fluid, seamless race.
And as a driver, you can't go to the track thinking, I just want to finish. You have to go with the mindset, I would assume, I want to win.
Yeah, you're always pushing 100%, going for that win. And maybe sometimes after the weekend you finish and you go, oh, actually, if I just accepted that, I could have finished 6th, but really I finished 10th because I went for something. But at the time, you're always trying to go for the better result. You don't think, I'll just sit here and accept 8th place or 7th place or whatever. You try and move up.
See, that to me, like Aaron, Aaron and I both watch F1. I've always thought that's one of my frustrations with the sport, that at a certain point, if you're not one of the top 6 cars, the first 3 teams, you're not going to win. You go there, you go to a racetrack going, all right, we're going to fight for mid-pack. Screw that. What's the point to me? I mean, that would be incredibly frustrating as a driver to me. That's what I love about IndyCar, and I'm not just saying it because you guys are in town this weekend. When you watch an IndyCar race, Robert Wickens, none of us knew about this guy, and all of a sudden it's just like he's so close. And then I watch you racing, and you're right there every week. It's someone that can step up and do this, and the whole field is incredibly competitive front to back.
Yeah, that's something that IndyCar have done very well, and the comparative speed up and down the grid is so similar on different equipment as well. Keeping all the equipment as close as possible. They've done a really good job with, and that's something that's really hard to do because you're building a chassis. It's handmade. There's always going to be discrepancies, but you look at qualifying, and from first to last, there's a second, which is nothing between.
Right.
That's 2 cars within 1/10, and there's different teams, different drivers, different engine manufacturers, and yet it's that close. So that's credit to the championship to keep the regulations tight enough and everything that comes with it.
Did we tell Jordan they did make one change in Detroit? I don't know if they told you guys officially yet. During the truck races, they have the ramps. They're going to keep that out for the Saturday race. Just one.
Okay, yeah.
So if you want to, you can use it.
So you can run people into it. And
Exactly. Yeah, you kind of
like
flip them
Mario
off to
Kart,
us.
yeah.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah,
turn
there it
3.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Or you can put water in one of the turns, like they do at the go-kart tracks.
Like that's
Or
not.
baby powder.
That's not a bad idea. I wouldn't oppose to having sprinklers.
You want to go drift in Indy? I'm sure Ed would love that.
Yeah, the guys who own the teams might not enjoy that. So it'd be good fun driving it.
You're going to have fun here, man. It's turned into one of those events. The Duel in Detroit it's an awesome thing. And Jordan, you're going to have a lot of success this year, man.
Thank you very much.
You were looking for, and then when you convince Ed to just hang him up and be a full-time owner, you take his car next year, right?
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
There's a long way yet.
Ed, come on, man. You can't drive. You had fun at Indy. Relax. Just
I think
Fo-
he
focus on
still
being
wants
around.
to win Indy, so he'll be around for at least another year.
We'll just get him iRacing. He'll be fine. He'll be happy there. Jordan King in town, and of course, Aaron again will be out there on the dress this weekend. You're gonna race?
Alan, I'm not racing in a dress this weekend. I'm gonna go watch.
Okay, you'll be there, and you're gonna do the kilt. Now, if you win, will you wear a kilt to the next race? Can we agree on that?
Can we do that bet? Seriously.
Come on.
Oh, it depends. It depends. I can't go full Scottish.
No. We don't want you to. I mean,
Yeah.
good-looking young man, but we don't need that. We don't want to traumatize anyone.
It depends how good the kilt is.
Pat, is that okay? Is that in the pits? As long as he's got covered-toed shoes, then he's wearing a kilt, he's fine. Okay, cool.
Talk to Dario. He'll be able to give us some advice.
You want me to bring that up to him? Okay. Oh,
I do have one random question though. Just because, all right, so tomorrow we're talking about swimming.
yes.
I was around a family on Saturday that was by the lake, and they told their kids, don't go near the water because you can't swim and neither can we. And I'm thinking, you go to the lake, but you can't swim. Here you are, this accomplished race car driver. You do all these amazing things. Is there anything average that you can't do? Like something normal that other people can do that you can't do? Maybe it's like whistling or dribbling a basketball or...
No, I think I quite... As a child, I did everything and anything. I didn't spend much time inside at home, so...
Can you cook?
Oh,
I can put food in an oven, yeah.
There's a difference.
I'm no Michelin star chef, but I can survive if that's what you're asking. No, things that people are better than me at, I'm happy to leave them to do it. So my mum was a very good cook, so I can happily accept that I wasn't the best at that, but I can survive. Yeah.
All right. Jordan King in studio. Better driver, Mansell or Senna?
See, I'm not one for really comparing drivers.
Okay.
I think the whole thing of who's the greatest driver of all time is a very trivial question because it's a different era. My argument is that there's probably 50 drivers now that were better than the drivers
Then
50 years ago. And before people go and bite my head off, I'll give you a reason why. Because now young drivers coming through have spent 10, 15, if not 20 years practicing, and in a lot more structured way, and with more science behind it, and really have worked towards an end point, to the top of the ceiling, whereas 50 years ago it wasn't like that. There wasn't as much structure in the sport, there wasn't as many people there, and unfortunately there's a lot higher turnover of drivers due to accidents.
well, yeah.
So now it's a lot harder to make the top because the cream stays at the top in that sense. So that's my reason for it. I'm not saying that the drivers back then were bad by any means.
No, that makes perfect sense.
I just
It does
think,
make
I just
perfect
think
sense.
collectively the top is fuller of.
Well, we're seeing another series that, like, you had the guys. I don't remember the team. They had someone that came from, was it iRacing or Forza?
Yeah.
That had never really raced a car.
Yeah.
Is that almost going too far the other way? That was Nissan that did that.
Yeah.
It didn't end well, but I mean, they tried it.
I think every time you've seen that, they're good, but they're not the best. And at the end of the day, it's like saying someone's really good at FIFA or Madden, and then they get onto the actual pitch.
that wouldn't end well.
Yeah.
That wouldn't end well.
So
I'm gonna go out and play with Liverpool and see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's a similar thing that yes, you can be good and you can understand the context and stuff, but at the end of the day, being a professional sportsman isn't about just being good. It's what makes Usain Bolt, or what makes Tom Brady.
Right.
There's something more there, and I think that's what 15 years of driving from a young age, spinning off in go-karts in the wet, crashing, racing, and you just pick up things that you don't realise you're learning, which you don't get.
I can tell Jordan's going to be a star because he's already working at the end of the day. That's an NFL level response right there, man.
Is it?
Yeah, oh yeah. Just good Lord willing, doing our best at the end of the day. If you're not Ricky Bobby lines, and you're working if you're first year last. Right? All right, there.
I've got a few more. But
Thank you, Lord, baby Jesus.
Jordan King, it's fantastic, man. Thank you so much for coming in this morning.
Thank you very much.
DetroitGP.com for all the tickets, and follow 42 Jordan King on Twitter, Jordan King 42, and then at CarpenterRacing.com. We'll see you at a Belle Isle.
Thank you.